Hello, good afternoon. Today we
Good
are going
afternoon.
to interview two of our legends historically who have contributed a lot in the field of adult and lifelong learning. They do not require any introduction, at least a renowned veteran person in the field of adult education, a grassroots level person, a person who has a background from the field level to the civil society organization to a very vast experiences in the field of adult and lifelong learning through our prominent voluntary organization where we happen to be a lifelong member, and I am talking about Indian Adult Education Association. Today's in-depth interview series is the beginning by our research scholar, whom I personally call Len, but in fact he is Linjen Dongal, and he used to say, "Sir, आपको जो कहना है बोल दीजिए." So I popularly tell him Len. Who is Len? Len is a research scholar who is doing research in Indian Adult Education Association. Indian Adult Education Association, which had its beginning before the independence, and Len will confirm later on in the introduction that this is registered in the year of the independence itself, in the May 1947. I need to be corrected. So the organization, which had its beginning in 1947 until date, the President Sri K.C. Choudhary and Professor S.Y. Shah, Professor S.Y. Shah, Professor of Jawaharlal Nehru University, former professor, President of Indian Reading Association, Vice President of Indian Adult Education Association, and President of Director of International Adult Institute of Lifelong Learning in ITO. They do not require detailed interview. An interview, the first in the series, will be taken by Len. I said Len is a research scholar in our department, and in fact, he is the first research scholar in our department since its beginning from Northeast area, which is the priority area of our country. So Len, a research scholar representing Northeast part of our country, and who was our master degree student, who has got the opportunity to visit to Germany winter school in the first batch, got that scholarship, and Len, allow me to share, when you were visiting Germany on that scholarship, with the request of me and through Professor S.Y. Shah, you could get the resources, that is financial resources, from Indian Adult Education Association, and this is how you got the DAD scholarship. The person who has received the assistance, financial assistance, and that later on got the DAD scholarship in the first batch of winter school, is going to research on Indian Adult Education Association, and to these two prominent persons in the beginning, and later on also a series of persons prominently working in Adult Education Association will be interviewed. So in the today's session, I think I will tell Len to give some brief about Sri K.C. Choudhary and Professor S.Y. Shah, whom he is going to take interview, and also I think take the opportunity to thank Rameswar Gupta, who is supporting today in the technical assistance, and you are also taking the help of our honorary director, Indian Adult Education Association, Kalpana Kaushik ji. And I also welcome on my behalf from our university side those who are like Dr. Mohan Kumar. I think I saw Dr. Anita Priyadarsini also. Those who have joined today for this very important historical movement of recording the history on the research area of Linjen. So they will also be part of the first, historical moment of this interview, where we are going to take a kind of a detailed history. So I should not tell detail, Len. This is your floor, and I hand over to you, and you will be taking the in-depth interview of Sri K.C. Choudhary and Professor S.Y. Shah, to legend, to icon in the field of adult education. And if need, I will be moderating here. Thanks. Len, I hand over the mic to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Uh, First and foremost, I want to thank God for giving us this opportunity. And my greetings to all senior professors, veteran members of IAEA, as well as the department, scholars, junior and seniors. It's my greeting to all of you. Uh, I welcome you on this platform. Learn, share, interact, and learn as a family. Uh, well, as Sir has introduced, Sir has introduced uh, this interview. Leaders in IAEA is part of my doctoral topic, role of voluntary organization in adult education, with special reference to Indian Adult Education Association. First and foremost, before taking the interview, I want to introduce uh, two of our interview today. Uh, Professor Keshi Chaudhary. A little bit about the background is Professor Keshi Chaudhary is the president of Indian Adult Education Association, New Delhi. He is a professionally qualified lawyer who is deeply interested in social work and community development. With the result, he is associated with the Indian Adult Education Association for the last 40 years, during which he was member of the executive committee, associate secretary, vice president, general secretary, and now president. Recognizing his service to the society, particularly for the needy, he was appointed as member of Madhya Pradesh State World Class Commission in the year 1933. He has been associated with many organizations. He has been associated with many organizations, which includes India Literacy Board, Kanpur, Jan Shiksha Sanstan, Central Board of Workers, Education, Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar National Institute of Social Science, Mahau and Indore District Cooperative Union. He is the Chancellor of International Institute of Adult and Lifelong Education and founder of Reading Association of India. If little more to add, uh, he is present with us. He will further correct us if there is something required for request information. And coming to the next resource person, I want to introduce a bit about Professor S. Vaisa. Uh, he's the founding director, founder. He's the founder director of International Institute of Adult and Lifelong Education, New Delhi, since 2002. Earlier, he served as a professor and director of adult continuing education at Jawaharlal Nehru University, senior fellow at the elsewhere National Institute of Adult Education and Joint Advisor Education Division, Planning Commission, Government of India. Professor Shah has conducted 18 evaluation projects sponsored by the UNESCO India, the Commonwealth of Learning, and UNESCO Institute of Lifelong Education, Indira Gandhi National Open University, Directorate of Adult Education, and Asian South Pacific Association for Basic and Adult Education. He has over 60 publications, including 12 books. Professor Shah is recipient of Nehru Literacy Award 2007 and was inducted into the International Hall of Fame in Adult Continuing Education, USA 2015. He served as an expert member, chair of several committees uh, of the National Literacy Mission, University Grant Commission, Indian Adult Education Association, and UNESCO. If further information shall require, this is just a brief introduction. If further requires, we can see in the website as well as. Well, since Indian adult education, I want to also introduce about a little bit backgrounds of what Indian Adult Education Association is. Indian Adult Education Association is a pioneering national level voluntary organization established in the year 1939, dedicated to promote adult, non-formal, and lifelong education in the country. Men of eminence like Dr. R.P. Manasi, Sri R.L. Chet Singh, Sri S.P. Richardson, Dr. Amarnath Jha, Sri S.M. Uh, Barucha, Sri Raghumandan Saran, Sri N.K. Mukherjee, Dr. Zakir Hussain, Sri V.S. Mathur formed the association. It was registered on May 15, 1947, registration number 308, under Society Registration, an Act of 111 of 1860 with its own memorandum association and rules and regulations. The important still relies on still is relevant and important keep that as alive in Indian and education is Dr. Zakir Hussain observed the history of Indian adult education. The history of Indian adult education is the history of Indian education in India. This is something that reminds us, reflects us, restores us that how adult education is important and with these associations. Coming to the end of the introduction, um, well, I will uh, directly go to the that is part of the introduction. Well, we'll head with questions, and meanwhile, Dr. Professor Rajesh will moderate as per the required um, informations. Um, I was so delighted to say that it's an honor for me to interview two members who were closely involved with IAEA over the past many years, who provide a dynamic leadership for a long period and play a key role in the development of IAEA at home and abroad. Sri Keshi Choudhary, sir, and Professor S. Y. Shah. Um, well, sir, good evening. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to interview both of you. As we are all aware that it is important to interview the member who are closely involved with the activities of IAEA over a long period, because you may have rich experiences on the working of organizations which may not have been documented earlier and known to us. But such information and insight might help us to the understanding of the IAEA. So, sir, could you please share us the beginning of your association with Indian Education Associations, and what attract you most to join this association? The question is over to Sir Sri K.C. Chaudhary, sir. Kindly unmute your audio, sir.
Hello.
Yes,
Now
sir.
am I audible?
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Yes, audible.
Audible. Right. Good afternoon, friends. As regards my self-introduction, I'm K.C. Choudhary, President of Indian Adult Education Association, New Delhi, since 2002, and I was General Secretary of this organization in 1990. Since then, I'm working for the association. Prior to this, I was Vice President, as Len had said. Apart from that, he has given many things about me, and I need not to elaborate all of those. Uh, but when I was schoolboy, my father was a scout teacher, and he was adult education teacher also. I used to go with him along with a lantern, teach the adults in a very weaker section area in village Gaon, which is my birthplace. So this is all right about me. This brought me here to Indian Adult Education Association. My love was adult education. For that, I was there in Kerala in Mo, where we ran 100 adult education centers. Thereafter, I was elected to Indian Adult Education Association as General Secretary. Here we also conducted many adult education centers in Tirupati, that is almost a slum area, or region that was a settlement colony. And next slide. Yes, Len, what is the next question?
लेन हाँ लेन दूसरा सवाल
Yes, yes. The question is, sir, the beginning of your association with the IAEA and what attracted to you, what attracted to you to join the association? Am I audible, sir?
Actually, there is some audio governance here. I request to all other members, please mute yourself, other than the interviewer and the interviewee.
okay Len you are asking कि what motivated Sri
Yes,
Chaudhary
sir.
Sahab to
Right.
join Indian Adult Education Association.
Yes, sir.
Sir, he is asking कि uh,
Right, sir. Yes,
what
I'll
motivated
explain.
you to join the organization, sir? Initial motivation he is asking, sir.
Right, sir. This was motivation of Dr. S.C. Datta, then General Secretary of Indian Adult Education Association. We joined the association in 1968 at Pondicherry conference, where I met Dr. S.C. Datta, and he encouraged me to come to IAEA, and he got me elected to the Executive Committee of Indian Adult Education Association in 1976. I was member of the executive committee at that time. In 78, Dr. Malcolm Asia, who was Deputy Acting General of UNESCO and President of Indian Education Association, he asked me to continue as Associate Secretary. Then I was Vice President of IA in 86. Thereafter, I became General Secretary. And this all was due to the encouragement and wish of Dr. S.C. Datta.
Okay,
Okay. Okay, sir.
thank you.
If I may,
Len.
please, I want to, since Professor S. Y. Shah is part of the first person, sir, over to you. I want to hear from your response as well. The beginning of your association with the IAEA, and then what attracted to you most to join this department, sir?
I was attracted to IAA as a part of my research. When I joined JNU as Assistant Director of Adult Education Program, my professor told me you should focus on research. Since I had a master's degree in history and education and specialization in history of education, he told me to do research on history of adult education. That took me to, then he said, you must ask specialists in the field, interview them and write the history, because what is not written in the book should reflect. So that took me to the president of IAA, then SC Datta. I went to interview him. So he told me about association. He encouraged me, okay, you should join association. That is how, because of his encouragement, because of my interest in the subject, I joined IAA. Okay.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
Well, the next question. Coming to the next question. The IAA has successfully celebrated 75 years of successful service in adult education, 1939 to 2014. And you also have, you both of you has also by person witnessed the historic movement. And both of you have also been the author and compiled a souvenir. Could you please share us the life journey and your field experiences as an adult education lifelong learning professional now and then?
So you are asking first to Chaudhary Saab
Yes, sir.
life
So this,
journey about the celebration of this,
yes,
75 years of, yeah.
yes, sir.
Okay. Just I said that this was my boyhood when I went to Adult Education Center. Then Dr. Datta, hello,
Yes, sir.
Sir, you are audible. Sorry,
Dr.
you are
Datta
audible.
asked me to join. Right. Dr. Datta asked me to join. And thereafter, I started working in Indian Adult Education Association. We organized many conferences, regional conferences, and some zonal conference. In Northeast, we organized four regional conferences plus two All India conventions. It was the year 1970 when we organized an All India conference in Guwahati. Thereafter, we organized a zonal seminar in Meghalaya, Shillong. Thereafter, we organized many events in Shillong, uh, then Tripura. Tripura, we organized one. Then we organized something in uh, foreign connection of ISRO study. Dr. Mohan Kumar went there. Uh, Thereafter, we organized some programs in Northeast. But at All India level, we organize one All India Adult Education Conference every year. This year we organized at Siliguri last time. It was almost northeasty, though it is in West Bengal, but this is gateway to northeast.
Northeast.
Right.
Thank you, sir. Uh, I also get response. I will also like to get a response from Professor Shah. As I have said, the questions, 75 years of celebration, and both of you have also witnessed and experienced the life journey and since you have both of you compiled the 75 years, the journals, it was very informative, precisely, and it's good for scholar as well. So, sir, what are your field of experience and the life journey till now and then? So, I want to get response to you, sir.
you. You see, last almost 4 decades, I am in the field of adult education. After meeting late Dr. S.C. Datta, and because of my interest in history of adult education, he told me to write about adult education in Bihar, because that time Indian Adult Education Association was celebrating Golden Jubilee. So he was asking different people to write history in different. He was not getting anybody to write the history of adult education in Bihar. So he told me to write it. So I accepted it. I wrote a monograph. Subsequently, all through because of my interest in research, I continued my research. I collected all the documents of adult education, edited and brought an encyclopedia of adult education, which was published by National Literacy Mission. So I had followed up my research interest. Then apart from that, with IAEA, when I joined, they had just begun research methodology course. So when I met Choudhary sir, he said, you must take interest in this course. Then for the next 10 years, I coordinated the research methodology course in collaboration with the Adult Education Association. Then that way it has brought me very closer to association. Then I continue to participate in regular program more than apart from research methodology course, other workshop and seminar. Then again, because of my interest in history, when they completed nearing 75 years, they celebrating. I thought why we should not document. There was no document, tracing the history of association over 75 years. So I talked to Choudhary Sahab, let us do it. So we had all the documents in the association. So Choudhary Sahab and Kalpana helped me to get access to all the documents. So we examined all the documents and we examined all the photograph. We thought instead of writing a very academic publication, we should make a coffee table publication which gives highlighted of the important activities and important photograph which were lying in some drawers in IAE. Nobody has seen them. Even we did not know who are those people in the photograph. So it had a great difficulty in identifying. So, and anyway, we cannot write a detailed history. We thought that is why we called it glimpses of 75
Yeah.
years of association. It highlights different activities of association in a systematic way. And that is how we brought out that publication. Subsequently, we thought that many people will not read the book. Why not we make a film? Then I wrote the script and we got a film. Film is almost ready, and within a week it will be uploaded on YouTube so that people can also see what all the important activity association has done. Okay.
Okay. Thank
Very
you.
good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Next question. Yeah.
Uh, the question is over to Sri K.C. Chaudhary, sir. Uh, Sir, would you please share us the historical backgrounds of Indian Adult Education Association and how important is this association? Yeah, I'll repeat the question, sir. The question is over to you. Sir, would you please share us the historical backgrounds of Indian Adult Education Association and how important is this association? Thank you.
Len, you wanted to say that already history is written about IAEA, Indian
Yes.
Adult Education Association, but you wanted to say a
Thank
few
you.
important
Yes.
moments, few important events that
Yeah.
he could recognize as the part of milestone in the field of Indian Adult Education Association that you wanted to recollect from Sri K.C. Choudhary. Yeah.
Thank you, Len. Uh, the Indian Adult Education Association was an idea, and which was born in mind of Sir Suleiman Shah. He was Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court, and what he realized that there should be an all India organization in the field of adult education. Just you recollect that it was 1937 when Mahatma Gandhi, father of nation, called the nation to become literate because we were about to get freedom from Britishers. So there was a spirit behind country should be educated. Otherwise, the country was of illiterates, or that was required in 1937. Justice Shah Suleiman realized this, and he called on formation of an Indian Adult Education Association or an association at all India level. And this was done in 1938 in Delhi itself. That a committee was constituted in this respect, and that committee was to propose an all India nature organization. Further, again in 1939, at Bhagalpur, it was decided to establish an organization, and that was under the chairmanship of Shri R.P. Masani, who was Vice Chancellor of Bombay University those days, and with the All India Adult Education Association came into being. Thereafter, it was registered on 15th May 1947, as you know. So this was the background. Okay, the country was illiterate. This was about to get freedom, and we wanted our masses to be educated, to be literate, so that we can run our own country.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, next question. So the IAEA function as a federation of around 500 affiliated organizations spread throughout the country, supporting their activities by bringing them together in conferences, seminars, workshop, and discussion group. Through education, both periodics and otherwise, IAEA disseminate research finding and field experience on adult, non-formal, and lifelong learning to more than 2,500 life and yearly individual members of 16 states, branches, and other interested in the field of adult and non-formal education. And then since you have been actively taking part in most of the All India Adult Education Conference, could you please your experiences regarding to could you share your experience in this regard and what are the contribution of the conferences, sir? This question to Casey.
Len, you are going to ask about all India adult education
Yes,
conferences
yes,
undertaken conducted by Indian Adult Education Association. I
and
was also
yes,
perhaps not aware or might have forgotten when Sri K.C. Choudhary added that, oh, all India conferences were organized in Guwahati, Shillong, Tripura, because I was the part of Siliguri and Kanyakumari. There are so many. I was the part of that. So you are interested to know about the importance of all India adult education conferences. And perhaps you
the
also
contribution,
know
sir.
contributions. And you
The
all,
contribution of
you
the conference.
yeah, and you are asking this question prominently because in all discipline you see, maybe humanities, maybe social sciences, all disciplines have all India, conferences or international conferences. For example, Indian historical conferences, Indian geographical conferences. But it is Indian Adult Education Association which conducts all India conferences, and every year it is being conducted. And as you know, that there are so many significant kind of a thing that you wanted to ask from Sri K.C. Choudhary to explain, or perhaps some of the important, all India conferences which currently he could just recollect.
Yes, the
Sir,
contribution.
sir, yeah,
The
yeah,
contribution there is
contributions.
there is recommended from the conferences. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. You see, uh, the birth of Indian Adult Education Association was due to a conference. The conference held in Bhagalpur, that was All India Adult Education Conference, maybe second in the consequence. So the conferences of Indian Adult Education Association, which are known as All India Adult Education Conference, has been a guideline to the government. Whatever we recommended to the government, that was implemented by the government. This was a story of good old days till last 20, 25 years. Whatever Indian Adult Education Association urged or demanded, that was the policy of government. The government always recognized or gave weight to the recommendations of Indian Adult Education Association. Since you know this is a professional organization, professional organization of adult workers, adult educationists are those who think about adult education. That's why government paid the good weightage to our recommendation. We organized our conference on a certain theme that in Guwahati we organized uh, adult education for parliamentary democracy. This relates to our day-to-day topic, parliamentary democracy. We need in our institutions, we need in NGOs, we need in all India organization, or we need in our day-to-day practice. That what are the parliamentary practices? This is the way of life, parliamentary practices which we adopt in various aspects. As Professor Rajesh said, that we organized conferences in Kanyakumari. This is All India organization, and we organize the conference in different parts of the country. And a topic which is burning topic or which is necessary for the national consideration. As you know, when we introduced this total literacy campaign, our adult education for masses, our total literacy in 2000. Similar, we take a burning topic and we work on that. So our recommendations are very important. This is the only organization in the country which is working for the cause of adult education. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Len,
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
anything more?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
yeah.
Uh, Sir, coming to the next question. Uh, what has been your experience in involving universities in the activities of IAEA, and what are their contribution, and is it effective enough uh, in the work taken up by the IAEA, sir? Yes, yes, sir. Over to you.
You are
Yes,
asking
one
about the
of the
specific contributions you are asking?
Uh, the I'm asking the experience of Sir Casey, sir, uh, with the involvement of universities economically in the activities of IAEA. So from universities and college, like adult education in different college and universities, their involvement in IAEA, is it effective enough, and what is their contribution? That was my question, sir.
yes, Len, Indian Adult Education Association had, created or say developed or established or you can say promoted many organizations. International Council of Adult Education, Asian South Pacific Bureau of Adult Education, it has become Asian South Pacific Bureau of Basic and Adult Education. So IA has been uh, uh, doing a lot in its activities. We promoted adult education organization. Similarly, we were instrumental, or say it was Indian Adult Education Association that we promoted and organized in Indian University Association for Adult Education, Adult and Continuing Education, IUOCE. So that was promoted by Indian Adult Education Association. Dr. Malcolm Al-Sesha, our president, was the president of that organization. Our General Secretary, A.C. Datta, was the General Secretary of that organization. So that was looking after the university adult education. University adult education, we know that the universities are doing work in field of adult education. Similarly, National Social Service (NSS) that was instrumental in implementation of adult education programs in the country. In the total literacy campaign, role of universities was very important. Role of NGOs was important, and role of Panchayat Raj institution and local government was the influential. So that way, universities have been doing a lot in this field. The Department of Adult and Continuing Education was conducting the classes of adult education. Not only these classes are for illiterate, but for those who are literate. Adult education programs were run by many universities, and even now, many universities, even your Delhi University, Barkatullah University, University of the North, Devi India University, Gorakhpur University, Faizabad University, doing many activities under the uh, adult education program. So these are the university part. But
Okay.
other part is Jan Shikshan Sansthan, state
Mm.
resource centers, they were also implementing adult education programs in their respective areas.
Yes.
Okay.
Len, you are going to ask the same question to Professor S.Y. Shah also, because you are linking university and
Yes,
colleges.
yes, yes,
And
definitely, sir. Right,
I
yes.
hope it is also in your mind to say that, as you are aware, that Indian Adult Education Association has a national and international level journal on adult education, and currently, thanks to the organization, as far as we are concerned, this is the only journal in UGC Care Journal which is available as part of research scholars and faculty members. So you are going to ask this question separately, I hope, but the same question, university and colleges, you are going to ask with Professor S.Y. Shah also. Yeah.
Yes,
Sir,
my
Professor
yes,
S.Y. Shah.
yes, sir.
Okay, the relationship between association and university departments are very close, because association has a rich library of adult education. So many researchers have been visiting IAEA to collect and refer those material. So one is, research resource support, for university researchers, IAEA has been providing. Then another way IAEA has linked with universities, the organization of workshop and seminar. IAEA has been organizing this workshop at different in collaboration with different universities in different places. So university have been closely associated. Then, as Professor Rajesh said, the publication of the journal, because this is the only journal in India where public focuses on adult education. So it is a very good platform for researchers to publish their journal. Then apart from that, association is also closely linked with several universities, because many students want to do field placement. So they come to association. Delhi University send their students to association. Not only within India, outside university also wants to collaborate with association. Many of their students come, many of their scholars come to association to refer you, because it has some of the oldest publication, rare publication in the field of adult education is available in the association. So it has a very good relationship, between universities and Indian Adult Education Association. Just to promote, involvement of universities and academicians with the association established the International Institute for Adult and Continuing Education in 2002, because then, as an academic, they find, more acceptability to get closely working with an institute. As an NGO, many universities will think, why should we get so much involvement with NGOs? No, but with institute, many professors were very happy to be associated with us. So that is why association took initiative in establishing an international institute. So not only the professors from within India and outside India can also come. So we have recognized many of them as visiting professors, emeritus professor, distinguished professors, so that our relationship can be become very smooth. So it has great accessibility among university community, because association has set up an academic institution at its premises. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Uh, my next question is also appropriate to you. So my next question is: so it has been understood that the association has supported research and innovation in order to open the door for young and adult learners in education to enter in the field. There are many workshops on development of research methodology and other training courses. Could you please share us how important is and do you think it is effective? Over to you, sir. Yes, SYS, sir.
Acha. Okay, research is an important aspect of adult education. When we started research methodology courses, there was not much support from ICSSR or many other universities. There are many people who are working in the field of adult education, SRC, JSS, and NGOs. So they wanted to do research. There was no short-term course. So association that time took great interest in designing a research methodology course. First course was held in Kerala University. Subsequent 10 courses were held in Delhi in collaboration with JNU. So we used to get about 30 people from NGOs, university department, so that we are strengthening their research competences. So that role we played very effectively. Subsequently, ICSR started funding research methodology courses, and many university also developed this program. Then we stopped that course because there were enough provisions for that course.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You.
Well, my next question is: yes, believing in having a strong roots among the peoples IAEA strives and functions as a unifying and national body and a forum for exchange of ideas and meeting place for locals, states, national, and international organization. Uh, and there are also memorandums of understanding which has been signed, and the contributions and the achievements and the activities has been home and abroad is uh, momentums for us to understand. So, sir, could you please share us how local and international organizations are involved with this association, and are they actively working with the association till date? Over to Keshi Charisa.
Right. Uh, you see, we have categories of two types of members. One is institutional members, other is life members, individual life members. So in institutional members, we have Jan Shikshan Sanstans, we have state resource centers, we have University Department of Adult and Continuing Education. Plus, we had many government departments as our member in the states, particularly Madhya Pradesh, UP, and many other states. We have departments of adult education of the respective government as our members. We have been networking with them. Our programs were through them, and some programs were implemented through them. Wherever we organized an All India conference, the State Resource Center was involved in that. And many NGOs, state level NGOs, were involved in that. So we work as a network and we work together. And this togetherness brings the development of adult education activity throughout the state.
Okay. Uh, Meanwhile, I also want to get a response from Sir Professor Shah.
Yeah,
Uh, yes, sir.
we have several MOUs. When we set up International Institute of Adult and Lifelong Education, one of the mandate was to establish collaborative programs with university departments and in India and outside. So in India, we have MOU with Delhi University, to have collaborative programs. Outside India, first one was we established linkage was Augsburg University in Germany. Then we had a collaboration with Copenhagen University. We had collaboration with, so University of British Columbia. We have collaboration with Slovenia, and 6 universities we have collaborated. And this gave a chance, when they see our associate in institute, they wanted to visit. So we involve some of them as visiting professors, distinguished professors, so they feel a sort of involvement. And when they send the student, it was easier to get them affiliated with the institute so that they could visit the programs in India. So it is this collaboration that has led to more detailed collaboration with the Delhi University MOU with Augsburg University, which facilitated the movement of student faculty members to Germany and Germany to Delhi. So this collaboration has been very effective, very successful, and it has completed over 5 years. You had also gone to Germany as a
Yes,
part
sir.
of this collaboration.
Mm.
So this is one way we have been trying to internationalize. New policy also talk about internationalization. So this is one way we had started to work in the area of internationalization of adult education. This has given chance to Indian students to participate in international work on comparative adult education in Germany. So this has been a very important part has been played on promoting internationalization of adult education.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Well, sir, next question is in fact obvious and common in the institute as well. Dr. Zakir Hussain, the vice president of the association from 1950 to 1960, and the presidents of in India observed the history of Indian adult education is the history of adult education in India. Could you elaborate more on this statement and with the materials and resourcefulness of IIA, since Dr. Zakir Hussain also observed, so how digitally and how resourceful the IIA is for the learners as well, sir. Over to Casey,
Right.
sir.
Thank you. Dr. Zakir Hussain, the President of India, was our Vice President for 10 years. And at the time of our Silver Jubilee function in 1964, he observed that the history of Indian Adult Education Association is the history of adult education in India. Because you know that Dr. Jakursan was one of the founders of association in 1938. He was one of the signatories to the memorandum of association of the Indian Adult Education Association, and he was working in Jamia Millia. And Jamia Millia and Indian Adult Education Association grew together. Their history is almost common, or they started many activities together. Uh, Mr. Shafiqur Rahman, in whose memory the institution building is there in Delhi, was working in Jamia. So Jamia has contributed a lot in the development of Indian Adult Education Association. Their workers, their leaders were the leaders of Indian Adult Education Association also. So uh, since it is important that why the history of Indian Adult Education Association is the history of adult education in the country, because none other than Indian Adult Education Association had worked for cause of adult education in the country. So it was whatever work is done in field of adult education was done by the Indian Adult Education Association, and the Indian Education Association history is the history of Indian adult education scenario.
Okay. Yeah. We will also get response from Sarsa.
You know, one of the reason why such a statement was made because our leaders of the association were actively involved in policy formulation, policy implementation at the ministry level, you know, because all the program that time, this was the only organization in adult education. So all our president, secretary, they were all very closely involved with the program. So formulation and implementation of adult education program, especially during the first 25 years. So, you know, so you could make out what all development happened in the field of adult education is because of the association. Our leaders were very active in the ministry formulation, government policy and implementation. And we are there, you know, always their policy advisors, all the issues they also send to association for their opinion. So we have played a role because our leaders were taking very active interest. They were people of stature, you know, eminence, you know, so their voices were heard. That is why it has become like that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Very important.
Well, the second question in viewing the frequency of publications. Besides the newsletter, as you are aware that Indian Journal of Adult Education and Broad Shiksha, published by IAEA as quarterly, will be converted into bi-yearly, and both the journal will be published as peer review one. So, would you please share us the reason for this decision, sir? Over to Casey, sir.
Right. Thank you, Len. The problem before us was that lack of material. We could not get enough material for our journals. We were publishing monthly. From monthly, we turned to quarterly, and from quarterly to bi-yearly. Really, we are very sorry for it, but this was a decision which was taken with deep pain and grief. So this is one of the. Secondly, now people are going for digital. They want to read it on their web or on their mobile phone or uh, other things of uh, communication. So it was a very sorry decision. Uh, Thank you.
Yes,
I
sir.
will also add one point here
Yes,
one
sir.
of the reason, there are two reasons why we had to take such a decision. One is, there are no good research publication, as Mr. Chaudhary Sahab has said. We don't want to publish any trash. So we had to bring, because we had also started an international journal by the institute, but half
It
yearly
is
journal.
running
That
low.
after 2 years we stopped because we were not getting very good international articles from international research. Second is that, people, as he said, online publication, it is very fast. People are not ready to wait for publication 6 months, 1 year, because now we have another next two issues, we have all the journals. So if anybody submits today, he has to wait for another year. So people want quick publication. Online publication channels are there now, they can write and put it on different sites, so it is equally treated as a publication. Because of these two reasons, we decided to go very slowly, select only good publication. Once in 6 months is good enough. It's a peer reviewed journal. It maintains its own standard now.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for the information.
Yeah.
Opinion. Different opinion.
So coming to the next question, uh, will you please share us how did the association influence the government policy over the prospect and development of adult education in the country? How did the IAEA influence the government policies over the implementation of adult and lifelong education in India? Over to Sir, to Professor Sir.
Yeah, because government has always consulted us. Many of the, whenever they want to formulate policy, they always invited president or secretary of the association to different. They are ex officio invitees. Government has been consulting, and then whenever any new policy, anything comes, we always discuss. We send our recommendation. When the draft national education policy was there, association organized a brainstorming session at India International Center and got the reviews from different scholars and academicians, and we send to ministry. So it is a both way. We also support them, they also support us. Okay.
Okay. Casey, sir, any inputs from the question, sir?
Definitely, Professor Shah has very well defined the thing because we have been influencing the government policies. Our leaders were heard reverently by the government, and government consulted them, and they were enough powerful to influence the government policy. That was one of the reasons that we could influence the government policies, or we could get implemented policies related to common people and adult education.
And we could also disseminate government policy because we have over 2000 members, 200 institutional members. So we have channel for dissemination. So government also, expect us to disseminate its policies. So we have the mechanism. So this is the national level, international level professional organization. So we try to do justice to our role.
Okay.
Okay.
Sir,
Then,
yes, sir. Professor Rajesh, sir, anything to add?
no, I think you are asking very good questions. You see, you
Yes,
ask
sir.
about the journal, you ask about the library, you ask about the international, kind of a all India conferences. Uh, you kindly go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah,
you have
I have.
mo-
Yeah. Meanwhile, I have four more questions.
yeah. Please go ahead.
Yes, yes. Hold on. Uh, sir, meeting to discuss program to be taken by IEA during 2019 and 20. After considerable discussion regarding the current scenarios of adult education in the country, it is recommended more number of research and field-based programs such as research studies and publication, study on state resource centers and collection of resource material, fields program in the slums of Delhi, lifelong learning program for senior citizenship, uh, and others. To ensure proper planning and implementation, a lot of manpower will be required. So could you please share how would you generate manpower? Is there any scope for the research scholars and college going university students, sir? Over to Casey, sir.
Right. Thank you. Our aim is to take up these programs with the field assistance from people, community participation. we will ask students to come forward, and we'll ask other social workers, social activists to support this cause and the volunteers in this cause. We'll collect some money for these programs, and IA will do something from its own resources, so that way we can implement the program.
Okay. Sir,
Thank you.
anything to add, sir?
What's that question? I forgot.
Uh,
Yeah,
during
young
the
scholars. Yeah, I know.
yes, sir.
We always want to involve youngsters. That is one of the program we envisage was PhD research scholars colloquium. Where PhD students, 10, 15 students from different university, we brought them to association, fully paid 1 week residential course. Idea was to introduce them to association and try to involve them in our program. Even now, when we see students like you, we always want to involve you. You
Yes,
know, that is, association is always open. Now we have set up a lifelong learning center at our association, and to cater to the educational needs of the girls of the nearby slum, who are appearing for 10th and 12th. So we want some Delhi University research scholars to come and help us in teach them. So we are always open to, invite young scholars. Our one of the concern is how to attract youngsters to the organization. So we are open. If you have also idea, we will welcome your suggestion. If you want to take up any research, we will be supporting you. So there is lot of way. It is mutual. Future is youngsters. Most of the people in association are above 60. So we are trying to develop a cadre of youngsters. So it is for you to take interest and tell us what way we can involve them.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Definitely, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Coming to the next question. The NEP 2020, the chapter of adult education and lifelong learning, the objective was to achieving 100% youth and adult literacy by 2030 and significant expand an adult and life continuing education program. Uh, so, sir, with regarding this NEP 2020, could you share us what are some of the could you share us some of the main problems and challenges of IAEA, and what are the future roles the IAEA would be taking, sir?
This is a very critical question. Uh, since we do not find anything in NIP, National Policy on Education 2020, but the promise of government is there that we will achieve 100% literacy by 2030. So we are there to support the program. If any, we will be asking the people to kind of take up the programs for 100% literacy in the country. But the main question is of resources. Resources are very limited, and we do not expect much in this field, neither from government, nor from the corporate sector, and not from any other corner. So this is really a question or a problem which is disturbing us also.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, sir. Sir, any input, sir?
Yeah. The policy is very open, but there is no direct support to NGO sector. They don't say we will actively involve NGO like earlier policies. They were very openly inviting NGOs when they had National Literacy Mission had invited Kerala's KSSP to join them in launching the program. So we are waiting to see when they try to operationalize the program, what is the place they are giving for NGOs? What are their expectation from us? We are ready to cooperate with any program of literacy because this is our mandate. Literacy is our mandate. So we will do whatever way we are possible through raising our own resources. We are always open to work with government. Whichever government party is in there, we are always work with state. We work as a team. So our focus is on literacy. Even now we are thinking to set up some literacy centers in the slum area behind our office. Today only we had a discussion with the president. We should set up a few literacy centers because literacy is a very basic thing. Without literacy you can't move ahead. So our commitment is there. We will do something with or without government support.
Okay,
Len, and you know that in spite of that, uh, Indian Adult Education Association had also organized one discussion in India International Center
Yes.
on a new education policy 2020. And that documents prepared and sent to the government as part of feedback. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
So yeah, coming to the next question, sir.
Yes.
The NEP 2020 towards a more holistic and multidisciplinary education, stating that the UGC will be either 3 or 4 years duration, with multiple exit options within this period, with appropriate certification. In regard to this NEP, what is your view? What is your view regarding in this matter? Could you share us the implementation of any EP 2020 in the discipline of adult education, lifelong learning in undergraduate, sir? Over to Casey, sir.
I think Professor Shah will
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes.
it's fine, sir.
You
Yeah.
know, we had already started discussion. I had discussion with Professor Rajesh. He had already organized a webinar on undergraduate thing, because this has opened up a good chance, because restructuring, curriculum at the masters and graduate level. Instead of 3-year program, they are making 4-year masters instead of 1 year. So this gives us a chance to revise the curriculum, because most of our curriculum are outdated. Reading lists are very old. So it will help us to revise the reading list, reorganize the curriculum. So since it is going to be 1 year certificate, 2-year diploma, 3-year graduation, so we have to see what all will go in the certificate course, because we were thinking earlier to organize a certificate course in lifelong learning. Now with BA first year becoming a certificate course in lifelong learning, how can we develop? How many credits will be required? So there is a lot of scope to do introduce it at undergraduate level, certificate, diploma, degree, postgraduate. So it is a massive exercise which will be, I think, some guidelines will come from UGC, and we will also work closely with UGC how to, introduce in curriculum at undergraduate level, because in Delhi colleges are run undergraduate courses, university department run masters. If they introduce lifelong learning, they have to recruit new faculty. Only Delhi University department faculty cannot teach in so many colleges. They
Mhm.
can at best teach in 1 or 2 campus colleges. That will be additional workload. So a lot of administrative financial angle have to be, it is not just academic aspect. So it has opened up a next 1 year you will see a lot of discussion how to redesign, restructure courses at the certificate, diploma, degree level. I think I am very happy that your department, especially Professor Rajesh, has taken initiative and he has started discussion. We had a discussion on undergraduate curriculum in lifelong learning, so you will continue to be associated. Scholars like you will be teaching in such programs, in course of time.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, in fact, it's a dream for everyone because
Yeah,
we always think about promoting adult education and lifelong learning
yeah,
to make vibrant.
mhm,
Thanks for the input, sir. Uh,
yeah.
my next question is to Casey, sir. Sir, could you please share us which type of voluntary organization are involved or working with the IAEA? Which type of voluntary organization are working with the Indian Education Association? Over to Casey, sir.
Right. You see, there are many types of voluntary organizations. The pattern is changing. Earlier, volunteers were coming, they were forming, and they were for some certain social cause. But now there are NGOs, which are earlier these were for government grants only. Now the trend is changed. They have their specific agenda and they work for their agenda. But even then, we have some institutions like Jan Shikshan Sanstans, a few NGOs known as voluntary organizations, particularly I will tell about the India Literacy Board, Saksharta Niketan, which is working with us, and they are doing excellent work. Uh, because their source of inspiration was Madam Wealthy Fisher, there were enough resources, and that's why they are working. Uh, 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 All India Council for Adult Education, Mass Education, Calcutta, led by Mrs. Fulton Guha, who are the president of that organization. They are working in the field. So many organizations with which whom which we are working are doing excellent work, but they are few.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything to add, sir? Sir?
You see, we are not only open to voluntary organization in India, internationally also we are collaborating. Like ASTEC, we are very closely working with them. ICAE, we are very closely work them. So we are open to collaboration. Collaboration is our important strategy. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Uh, so, next question, sir. My next question is to Casey, sir. Sir, you have been traveling and visiting so many places, home and abroad, as a resource person and participation in conference, presentation, and the light. So, regionally, could you please share us what are your views on adult education and volunteer organization in Northeast region, sir?
I guess I spoke little earlier about the Northeast. In Northeast, we organize all India conferences, regional conferences, but you will note that the literacy percentage is good in Northeast. Few states like Mizoram, they're 100% here. So there is no need of such program, but they need some adult education program. NEHU is doing. Then some universities in Northeast, they are taking up. West Bengal, North Bengal University, they are also working in this field. So there is ample scope. People are working, and we are there to support them.
Sir, anything to add, sir?
No, you see, there are two, three good departments there in Northeast. Manipur University has a good department of, Shillong has a good department, Nehu has a good department, Kalyani University, Shantiniketan. They are all good departments of adult and lifelong education, and they are producing good PhDs. I have been examiner in some of the theses of Nehu, so I can see they are doing good. Youngsters are interested, and in research, they are hardworking people, so I have great hope that something good will come out.
Okay.
Okay.
I give time for Professor Rajesh sir also would like to say something with this because he has been went to notice often and often. Sir, can you say some thought on this, sir?
Len, Professor Shah already said, K.C. Choudhary already told that North is doing very good, Nehu is doing very good, Manipur is doing very good, Mizoram also has perhaps no department, but there are several persons who are working on adult education. But you specifically, as you were telling sometime, that you wanted to start some Indian adult education chapter in Northeast state. So how you will be doing as a youngster, how you will be promoting the adult education movement in Northeast. So that you have to see in future. But as you are very sure that there is a need to promote more adult education movement in Northeast area, and that you can promote. You can also take up some research study as part of your program through the ministry who is looking after the Northeast area, sir. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
definitely, sir. Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. And last question. This is uh, to what senior sir can respond to. As an eminent to our key speaker today. So, as an eminent adult educators with over so many years of experience, in order to have successful adult education lifelong learning in India, what are your opinions and suggestions for us? To Casey over well, the question is over to Casey, sir.
I am very hopeful that there are good chances and people are aware of the program and they respond to such programs. Universities are working for the cause of adult education. Though there is a sorry figure, the number of adult education departments in various universities are is reduced. But even then, there is hope that we will be successful.
Okay, Sarsha.
Same thing.
Yeah, I am also quite hopeful, like Agri sir said, this is a potential area. Importance of lifelong learning is increasing day by day. So only instead of books and other thing, now it is online learning. Technology is coming in a big way, and with this, you have access to all the latest literature now at the click of a button. Unlike earlier time. So
Mhm.
there is lot of scope, to do good work in future, and young researchers like you are doing in the field good work research, because future depends on your work. If you do good work, good publication, our field will be always be welcome. So it is your output is what matters. So I hope that is why we are trying to work with youngsters, especially doctoral students, involve them, make a group, interact with them, so that we and involve them with IAEA activities. So it is both way. If you have any ideas, you are welcome to IAEA and suggest us. We will take it up. Okay.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
Rajesh,
Thank
sir,
you.
anything to add, sir?
Thank you.
Yes,
Rajesh,
sir.
sir.
Thank you very much and good luck.
Uh,
Rajesh, sir,
uh,
anything? Yes.
No, I think you have asked the series of questions as part of the part one interview kind of a thing. I don't think so. It is the end. It is just the
Yes.
beginning of your interview. And what I see, Len, that as K.C. Choudhary sir and Professor S.Y. sir told, that the main aspect is how the young researchers, young persons are working, because there are two three things important in Indian Adult Education Association, that these two legendaries had made it possible, that is the making the library very vibrant, and it is going to be digitalized very fastly. So digital library will be available, and national level journal is already there, which is promoting the research scholars and the university colleges who are getting promotions and who are getting PhD awarded. So journal is the important area that they have given. And one important thing is the internationalization, which is there in new education policy. So as you see that these two persons, the eminent persons, Professor S.Y. Shah, Chaudhary Sahab, had made a lot many MOUs, memorandum of understanding in International Institute of Adult and Lifelong Learning. And our institution has also become the beneficiary, that we say that we are the institution who have sent maximum number of students and research scholars on DART scholarship or without DART scholarship to Germany winter school. So this has come through the Indian Adult Education Association, a promotion of these persons, Sri K.C. Chaudhary and Professor S.Y. Shah. So I think lot many things it cannot be completed, but
Yes.
you
Yes.
have made a very good beginning. And
Yes.
as they have said that the future lies in the young scholars and scientists that you have said, that how much advantage we take as a researcher, as a young scientist. So all future will depend upon that. As last word, if you wanted to ask with Chaudhary Saab and Professor S.Y. Shah, then you can take as part of the last word.
Yes,
So
sir.
from their side, yeah, you can just
Yes,
do
sir.
like that before
Yes, sir.
completing and before telling Nitish Anand to give the vote of thanks, because I don't think so. You will allow here others to ask some questions. Will some students or interns will be allowed to have? If
Yes,
somebody
sir.
quickly, you can give some space. Yeah,
Yes, I'll take few more times, and then I'll give the time to colleagues, and then my
yeah.
Nitish, my colleague Nitish will have a word of thanks.
Okay, okay, okay.
uh, my respects in regards to Professor S.Y. Shah, because I admire the publication and the research and the writings and the publication. It's a paramount and tremendous. So it's my regards and respect to you, because as academic, as a scholar, uh, writings and publication is something that is hard for everyone. Writing down publication, the ideas. So it is my respect and regards to you, sir. I was inspired by your evaluation, research, writings, and publications. And second thing, I was very glad, and then it will be a historic moment for me as well, being able to interview Casey sir, who is very old enough but active, and enable us to give a time and share his thought about the adult education, how could younger generation could motivate and inspire. So I take this opportunity to thank both of you. And yes, and it is I'm not only being part of scholar in the association as well, but it is a lifetime history for me as well. So to being able to interview both of you, it is a special moment for me as well to interview such a eminent professionals who are in the field of adult and lifelong learning. God may God bless you, sir. Give health and happy long life. And as a scholar, I try to work hard, learn more, and try to strengthen and promote adult education regionally, globally as well. Yeah, with the
Thank you.
guidance and support of Professor Rajesh sir, we have been this far. And I also give my regards to sir for giving us opportunity. We dialogue, we interact, we share, and then when we try and when we give, we learn. We mistake, we learn. So it is opportunity for all of us to get a such an opportunity. And I also thanks my technical support, Ramesh Roji. I really admire your creativity in making the poster. I think it's a talent that you can share with us. It's a moment all of us that can appreciate you. Well, with this is initial interview, and then we have more uh,
Okay, okay.
from my this from my side. Over to the floor. Yeah, thank you.
Uh, Nitish, before you give vote of thanks, I don't think so anybody has to add anything or say anything. We can unmute others if anybody has to ask. Nitish, Len.
Yes, sure, sir. I think this session was personally organized to take the interview from the interviewer Jangali, my research colleague, and I think that he has covered range of the question that was needed to ask and understand that what are the interventions that is going through the Adult Education Association nationally and internationally. I congratulate Dean for arranging such a wonderful session and asking such a wide range of questions. I also thanks to Casey Choudhary sir for taking out the time and giving us to understand that what has the intervention that is going through the Adult Education Association and what are the future visions of the Adult Education Association. So I thank you, sir. Thank you so much, and hope that your continuous guidance and all the enlightenment will keep happening in our life as a research scholars and as a studious person under this field. I also thanks to Professor Aswaisa sir because he is the one that has taken the research of the adult education in India and abroad very meticulously and spread widely in India or the global platform. We are continuously associated with Professor Aswaisa sir. He is the guider and he is also the researcher that has the very good understanding and that is the pinnacle for us to get the success in the field of the adult education. So thank you so much, Aswaisa sir, for giving us such a wonderful time. And I hope that this interview will bring out some of the important answer which is required in the field of the adult education. So thanks again for joining all of you, scholars and professors and all other participants. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Len. Thank you, Nitish. Or
Thank you.
thank you, Mani, those who have joined. And special thanks to Professor S.Y. Shah and Sri K.C. Choudhary ji and their blessings for our research scholar and those who young scholars who have lots of hope in Indian Adult Education Association, and they will continue to get your support. Sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sir, thank you and pranam. Yeah. Thanks, Rameswar. Now you can continue. Thanks,
Yeah.
Len. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ramesh.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Thanks.